At Option Genius, we believe that you deserve freedom, financial freedom, so that you have no more worries and more than enough money. Time freedom, so that you could do what you want, when you want to do it. And choice freedom, to live your life on your terms. But the system and Wall Street are rigged against those little guys. So how do we fight back? Well, my friend, that's what this podcast is all about. My name is Alan Sama, and this is the Option Genius Podcast. Hello, passive traders. How are you doing today? This is Alan coming to you from the office here in Sugar Land, Texas. If you're ever in the neighborhood, we're by Houston, so if you're ever in the neighborhood, hit me up, send us an email, let me know you're in town, maybe we can meet up. That'd be cool. I love always meeting, traders and talking and shooting the breeze and all that stuff. But sometimes when you open yourself up to that, you get very confusing people that you talk to. And honestly, I am still shaking my head. And I know you can't see this because this is audio, but yes, I am still in disbelief. I'm still shaking my head. Actually, I don't know if it's disbelief, but it does happen more often than it should. But this episode is called The Tale of Two Traders because, this week I was able to talk to two different students that are in our passive trading formula course. And they both had opposite stories and they both had opposite results. And I want to talk to you about their results and how you can avoid the one and get the other one and why there was a difference, even though both of them were very smart. Both of them had similar experiences and they were similar demographics. Everything was very similar. I mean, these two traders, both of them had some experience with options before they jumped into the passive trading formula course. They were both motivated and excited and, they watched our training about it and they decided, this is something I want to do. So they took the plunge, they got in. One of them, we'll call him Trader A. He was excited and then he emailed saying, hey, I'm having some trouble. And so I got on the phone with him and basically he was... what's the right word? Maybe discouraged or disillusioned. Maybe that's the word. Because basically his major complaint was, he hadn't done anything. And his complaint was that the course only had 8 modules and a group. And that's not enough to actually teach somebody how to trade or not. You need a lot more information. You need a lot more content than that. You need a lot more. And he rattled off some things that he wanted to know exactly what I was doing. And that's what he was promised. And it's true. When I explain the course and what's offered in the course, I tell people that, this is what I do on a day-to-day basis. And I guess that wasn't enough for him. The other trader, we'll call him Trader B, is in the same course. He's been in the course for about a year now. And so he contacted and I wanted to talk to him and he's ecstatic. He's jumping up and down pretty much. I could hear the excitement in his voice. He has made over $114,000 this past year from what he learned in the course. So Trader A, Trader B, same course, same information. One guy decided, this is nothing, it's not worth it. The other guy decided that, I'm going to use this, and he made over $100,000 or like $115,000. That is nothing to scoff at. That is nothing to be like, maybe, it's like tip money. No, it's not tip money. That's a full-time income. And he didn't even spend full time doing it, right? He spent a few minutes a day looking at his trades. He did a bunch of trades, but it didn't take that long as a full-time job or even a part-time job. I mean, I don't understand what other part-time job you can get that'll pay you $115,000 a year without any stress. Really? Not that much. Trading has some stress, but not really as much as a full-time job with customers yelling at you and a boss and all that stuff and getting to work on time. No, none of that stuff. You work in your PJs. That's fine with me. I like that. In fact, I'm wearing pajamas right now in the office. Actually, they're not pajamas, but my wife calls them pajamas. They're like kind of like sweats, but they're like 15 years old. So anyway, that's my, that's my uniform. That's what I wear to work. And I know some of you are jealous of that because you have to dress up in a suit and tie and shave every morning and all that stuff. And, don't hate me because I'm lucky, or don't hate me because I found passive trading. You guys have found it too. Now you guys can get on board as well. But my point is that, you have two people. And I asked them the similar questions. I said, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your background. Tell me about what you know. how much money you're playing with, how much do you have to invest, what's your knowledge, how long you've been doing this, playing the trading, the markets and options and all that. And they were very, very, very similar. Even they lived in the same part of the country. They had the same amount of money to work with. They even worked in similar jobs. I mean, it was crazy. One had 2 kids, one had 1 kid, but they were both older kids, so they didn't have to worry about them. Very, very similar demographics, very similar people, but the mentality was different. And there are 3 reasons, and there are 3 things I need you to write down if if you have a pen and paper, or just remember these 3 if you're driving or exercising or whatnot. But the first thing that I think made the huge difference between the 2 of these guys is one of them took action and the other did not. And I think that comes down to it. That's it. If you do not take action, you are not going to get any results. $115,000 a year, great results. What did he do? Well, he went through the course and he did it step by step like I tell them to do in the course. I'd like them to do all the modules and do the homework assignments, put on some trades, and then pick a strategy out of the many strategies that we talk about in the course. Pick one of the strategies that works best for your situation right now, and we even tell them how to pick the best one for their situation. And so once he did that, he went through the different course. He asked questions while he was going through, and he said, you know what, I like this strategy, I'm going to pick it. And he did it, and he's followed it the way it's described in the course. He didn't add his own rules. He didn't change anything. He didn't add his own information or his own knowledge. He just went by. He said, look, Alan said this is going to work. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what he did. And the results speak for themselves. I don't know what else to say it or how to say it. You have trader A. His complaint was there are only 8 modules in a group. Yeah. But I asked him, how much of the 8 modules did you implement? And he says none of it. Well, then it doesn't matter if there's 8 modules or if there's 1 module, if there are 2 modules or 100 modules. If you don't go through the information, if you don't use the information that's already there, then what's the whole point, right? The whole idea is to keep it simple. How do you make something passive that doesn't take a lot of time? Well, if you're going to have 50,000 rules to it, it's not going to be simple and it's not going to be passive. That's why I wanted to break it down as much as possible and say have as few steps so that you really can't screw it up, right? I mean, that's the point. We want to live our lives. We don't want to be stuck in front of the computer. And so I didn't get it. I mean, the modules themselves, I had another person point this out to me. He goes, the modules are like 2 or 3 hours each. So, 8 modules times even 2 hours is 16 hours. That's a lot of time. Okay, that's a lot of material right there. I realized, okay, wait, this year we're going to have to go in and we're going to have to cut that up. We're going to have to streamline that stuff because even that is just way too much. We wanted to make it as simple, as easy as possible and say, hey, this is why we do it. This is what we do. This is how you follow those directions, step by step, boom, 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 boom. These are the results you're supposed to get. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, this fellow, it's like, oh, no, only 8 modules. I want a lot more. Well, no, you don't need a lot more. Number one, you shouldn't get more because that's going to give you even more reason to not do anything, right? If you want to find an excuse, you're going to find an excuse. Obviously, this guy's excuse was not enough information. Now, on the other hand, if there was too much information, then you'd find an excuse there. So I'm like, I asked him, what is the right amount of information that you want? And he didn't have an answer because he doesn't know. He's just looking for excuses of why he shouldn't do it. So why, he can chalk it up and say, oh, no, this system didn't work. Well, you didn't try it. You didn't do it. So how do you know? Obviously, it works because I got, the guy I talked to right after him making over $100,000. So where's the problem? It's working for me. It's working for everybody else. It's working for other students in the class. We have so many other testimonials. So maybe the problem is not the material. Make sense? I think so. So that's number 1, action. Don't take action. Number 2, you got to have some belief. Obviously, trader number 1, A, did not have the belief for whatever reason. Trader B had the belief. But I think that part of the reason that Trader B had the belief is that he went through the course. He went through all the modules. He heard me talk. He heard the examples. He saw them. He worked through them. He did the homework. When you do the homework, you actually have to put on a trade and walk it through and see how it does. You could not believe anything I say about anything, about selling options, or even if there's something called options. You can totally not believe me at all. But when you actually have to sit down in front of your screen, go to your software for your broker, put on a trade where you sell a option, and then watch it day by day by day and see what happens, you realize that, oh, maybe Alan knows what he's talking about. Maybe this stuff does work. Because the theta decay, I can't make that stuff up. That happens. It's real. The problem is you don't know how to use it yet. That's why you haven't had the success yet. But the belief comes by integrating yourself into this. The belief comes by listening to these podcast episodes where I'm talking about it, and hopefully I'm pounding you over the head every month or every episode that, hey, you need to sell options. You need to sell options. This stuff works. This stuff works. You know, we got lots of success stories. We got lots of examples. Just look at our records, our track records. In 2019, one of our other strategies where we sell oil options made a whopping 168% return in a year in 2019. 168% return just by selling options. You know, I mean, some people say, "Oh yeah, selling options, you're making nickels." No, you're not. It's 168% for one system. Following the passive trading formula course, this guy made $115,000. This is not nickels we're talking about. This is some serious money, right? So you have to have action. Number one, you have to have belief. But belief, even if you don't have the belief, you can get the belief, right? I can force you to get the belief if you do the work. If you take the action, if you just do what it steps, in the steps, follow one by one. Look at the module, look at the examples, put on a trade, ask questions. That's why we have the group. We have a group so you can ask questions. You can say, oh, I'm trying to do this trade. And we've had people do that. You know, they take a screenshot of a trade and say, I don't understand this. And we point it out. Oh, look, you know, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong. You do it this way, it'll work out. And then they look at it and they say, oh, you know, light bulb goes off. Yes, I misunderstood it. Thank you. And then they do it right. And then they see, and then they get ecstatic. And they're like, whoa, I did this. This has happened to one of our students right now. I forgot his name. He actually posted not too long ago. He was doing credit spreads, and he did it wrong. And so we helped him out. So he fixed it. And then a month later, he reports, oh, hey, I made my first 2 positive trades. Awesome. That's the whole thing. That's what we're here. You know, that's what I love to see. I love to see people getting it, having it click, having them be like, success. Yes. Because once if you can do it once, you can do it twice, you can do it 100 times. But you got to take that step. You got to go in first, right? The third thing you need is the desire. This is your why. This is why it has to happen. Now, obviously, Trader A, I asked him, you know, why are you trading options? Oh, I want to make more money and I want to retire early and, you know, I need to pay off some debts and it would be nice to have extra money to go on vacations and this and that. Okay, cool. But obviously the desire was not strong enough for him to take action. You know, it's kind of like with the story about burning your boats. I don't even know if this is a true story. I've heard that it is true. I heard it isn't true. But there was one group that was attacking another group. And I think it was the Romans or the Greeks. I don't remember. But they took their boats. They landed on the beach. And then at night, they burned all the boats. And the next morning, they were going to go fight. And obviously, if you burn all your boats, you can't go home. So if you want to live, you're going to have to fight really well. Because you either conquer or you die. You ain't running home. There's no retreat. And sometimes that's the way it has to be in life. And your desire, your why, your reason being, your reason why you want to trade, your reason why it has to work, it has to succeed, that has to be so burning inside you that there's no other options. There's no other alternatives. And if it is, then you will find a way. And I think that whether you believe in this or not, I think the universe contrives to find a way for you. Once you put it out there, once you think about it, you know, those brainwaves go out into the ether, go out into the universe or whatever, and the answers come to you. They're attracted to you. I've seen it in my life a million times. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it the secret. You can call it the attraction, the law of attraction. You can call it miracles. You can call it faith. You can call it religion, you know, God, whatever you want to call it. But I've seen it happen over and over and over and over again in my life, in many other people's lives. You might have seen it too. But if you want to test it, then have that burning desire. You got to have it. You got to burn. It has to burn inside. It has to hurt so much that you want this particular thing that you will not make any excuses. You will not falter, right? Trader A did not have that. He couldn't even take the first step. In his mind, it was, oh, this is not going to work. Instead of, I have what I need. It has worked for other people. Therefore, it can work for me because there's nothing wrong with me, right? And there's nothing wrong with you. If you can understand what we talk about in the training that gets you into the course, then you can understand the course. And it doesn't matter how newbie you are to options. Maybe you've never traded options before. This course was made with you in mind. right? It's not for somebody who's already making a living trading options. It's for the person who's getting started or who's not successful at it. And that's who this guy was. He was trying to trade. He knew some of the stuff, but he wasn't successful at it. So that's why we break it down step by step. This is how you do it. This is back to basics. This is how you become successful. Because what he needed was belief. What he needed was some confidence in himself. But he just couldn't get around to it because he hadn't put on consistently winning trades and he wasn't willing to do the work, which boggles my mind. You tell me that, hey, I want to succeed. You tell me, hey, I'll do whatever it takes to succeed. I'm going to put up money to join a course, but then you make excuses and you don't put up the time. Now, I got to admit, I've done that in the past, right? I've taken courses. I've been like, oh, wow, this is great. I want to do this. And then life gets in the way. In this case, it wasn't a factor of life getting in the way. It was just a factor of this guy did not have the three things that you needed. You didn't take any action. He didn't have any beliefs. He didn't believe in it. And he had lackluster desire, right? If you don't have a full desire, if you don't have belief, but you have action, you can still succeed. If you take a little bit of action because of your desire and you still don't believe, you can still succeed. So, or if you have belief and desire but no action, you're not going to succeed. So out of those three, action, belief, and desire, you got to have at least action. If you have all three of them, then your superpower, you're going to be making money in no time. You're going to succeed no matter what. That's all it boils down to. And so that's the purpose of this particular episode. And if you want to know how the Trader B succeeded, well, then you can join us in the Passive Trading Formula course. You can go through exactly every module that he went through, every homework assignment that he did, and then we'll be happy to introduce you to him in the course because he's in the Facebook group. He's in the group. He's in the community. He's answering questions. He's helping people, right? So it's all about action, belief, and desire. And we've talked about these things before, but it was just insane how closely related these two guys are, how close they are to each other. And you have one taking action and one just not. And the difference is astronomical, right? Because if you can make $100,000 in a year, you can do a lot more than that. And every year you can compound it and grow it and grow it and grow it. And then what? The sky is the limit. But if you don't take any action and you start blaming other people for your lack of action, then you're going to be the same. Actually, you're not going to be the same. You're going to be even more skeptical than when you were started. So, if you want something in your life, I tell my kids this, you want something, you got to go and get it. You can't just sit around and wait for it to come to you. You got to do the work. You got to hustle. My son, he's 9 years old. My God, my oldest, he wants to be a great baseball player. On this season, he wasn't. This last season, he went up to a new league, where the kids are pitching. Before he was on the machine. They had a machine that was pitching. Now he went to where the kids are pitching. And using the machine, he was a great hitter. He would hit almost every single time. But now with the machine, he couldn't hit at all. The whole season, I think he got like 3 hits, which was very discouraging for him because he's used to hitting the ball. He's used to getting on base. And so what do we talk about? We talk about, well, son, you want to get better. You need to get better. You need to practice. You need to hit. And we need to catch, and we need to run, we need to increase your stamina, and we want to do the whole thing. And so this morning, when I left for work, he was running up and down the stairs at home, doing sit-ups, doing push-ups, doing some exercises, some strength-building exercises that his coach gave him, because for next season, he wants to kick butt. And that's exactly the kind of mentality that we have to have. So find inside what your desire is. Find your reason. Find your why. And then take some action. And while you're taking action, because you're not going to be good right away. You're not going to be an expert at this stuff right away. It took me over, I don't know how long I've been doing this for. I think 15 years now I've been doing this. And I still wouldn't say that I'm the best in the whole world. I got to the level where I'm comfortable and I'm financially okay. This is where I want to be. And so, yeah, I do get better every year a little bit. I learn new things. I've seen more nuances. But it was the desire that got there, right? And it takes years and it takes time. You don't have to be the best right away. That's why passive trading, the way we've designed it is you could be wrong a lot. You could be wrong a lot of your trades, but you're still going to be positive in your profit and loss statement. And so the first step is just to take the first step and to get involved and do it and put on trades, watch them work out. And that's how you develop belief. If you see a trade and it works, you see another one, and it works and works and works. And it's like one day you're going to be like, oh my God, this stuff is actually working. What do you know? Right? And then you'll have the belief. So I'm not even worried about if you don't believe me. As long as you do the work, you'll get there. Even if you don't have a desire, if you just want to be a rich, fat slob, that's fine. If that's what you want, that's what you want. Okay, I'm not going to judge you, right? Eventually, hopefully, you'll come around and you'll want to take that money and help people, make the world a better place instead of being selfish. But hey, that's up to you. I can't tell you what to do with your money. So even if you don't have that burning desire and you don't have the belief, as long as you take action, you'll succeed. And so, with that, I will let you go. And hopefully, I have convinced you to take action, if nothing else, you know? You know what you got to do. Pretty much, you already know what you have to do. And if you don't, you can email us and we'll point you in the right direction. You know, tell us what you want, tell us what you need, tell us where you are in your life. We'll hopefully be able to point you in the right direction. Trading might not be for you, it might be something else. But if it is, and if we think that trading can help you, then we'll let you know. And that's the only thing I can do. All right, folks, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Take care. All stocks are not created equal. We've analyzed thousands of optionable stocks to find the very best ones to trade options on. Lucky for you, you can just download the list for free. Get it at simonsaysoptions.com/stocks. Again, that's simonsaysoptions.com/stocks.